I was just thinking, what makes some of us humans so successful and others just get by about 80-odd%, even more, just simply get by and just make ends meet, and they become, in a way, slaves to the ones that really know how to master themselves. Yet we're all born equal. When we're born into this world, we kind of have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, We have feelings, we can move, we can think, we can reproduce, we can eat, and we can defecate and so on. We're all kind of equal. We have the same kind of potential, yet some people excel and others just get by. And I realized that my own journey to this point in time has been a huge learning curve, absolutely huge learning curve. And I have realized now that although we're born equal, some people have mastered some things that drive humanity, that drive them towards success, and others are lost in unresourceful kind of modalities. So I'll explain this so it becomes a bit more clearer. You see, when we're born into this world, we have equal amount of potential, but our environment actually dictates whether we succeed or we don't succeed. In a competitive environment, in a nourishing environment, in a loving environment, we thrive, and in a docile environment where people are too busy trying to just make ends meet, they don't have time for us, it's not very loving, it's not very caring, it can in fact be downright dangerous environment for us to grow in, and it just completely messes us up. The formative years are around about 6, 7, and if we have, those are good for us, then we usually do well in life, and those are bad for us, then we do pretty badly in life. Anyway, what derives human behavior? And this is my own personal journey, so I can relate to you and everybody else that this really is true. So what derives human behavior are habits. Habits, all of the memories and thoughts that are recorded in a massive database that we never seem to forget, and they are organized in a sequential order. That means that we never forget that we did something a year ago or 2 years ago. It's always stored in a sequential order. And the other thing that actually drives us is that we are always motivated by fear. So it's always fear motivation. So habits are the database of our failures and successes and emotions, and fear-driven motivation. So when you cultivate good habits, and that's what really excels the people who do well from the people who do badly, is really, really good habits. Unfortunately, we cultivate bad habits as well. Procrastination is a bad habit. Leaving things to the last moment is a bad habit. Using alcohol to get by, cannabis, cigarettes, cocaine, stuff like that. Those are bad habits. Okay, so what drives us are cultivating good habits and leaving bad habits behind. And because I've been dealing with habits, addictions are habits. And because I've been dealing with them, I kind of come to understand them a lot better. So let's actually talk about, say, weight loss. And you go to Weight Watchers, and everybody's weighing themselves and say, oh, I made progress of losing 2 pounds, and the other one says, oh, my needle has hardly moved, and say, curse yourself. Okay, I am so determined to get to 10 stones, so I am going to lose 2 stones. And so you start to eat less and less, and start buying their products, which are supposed to be low calorie. We do everything we can. We hardly eat anything, and we exercise, and we drink water, and eventually we reach 10 stones. The moment we reach that, so it's called fear motivation. So everything works by fear motivation. So we are frightened that what's going to happen if we go to the wedding and we can't get into our dress. So we get to 10 stones. The moment we get 10 stones, okay, the fear motivation disappears and we start pigging out, and before we know it, we're not only at 12 stones, but we're at 13 stones. So the problem with fear motivation is it's inconsistent. It gives you inconsistent results. I'll talk about myself now. I have two things that have become critical now. One is to do my accounts. That's become critical. But the other one that's become critical is designing the website. I've only got 30 days. So why is it that I've left it alone? I knew about this. I knew it was coming for about 2 years now, but I kind of left it because there wasn't enough fear, because there was enough time. And now that there's only 30 days, okay, I have to design it and then I have to get somebody to implement it. Well, I know somebody who's been asking me to implement it, so I got to design it. So the fear of losing my website is so strong now, and that's called fear motivation. And I have no choice but to do it now, because if I don't do it, I'm going to lose my livelihood. And this is the problem with fear motivation, that almost everybody in this world is driven by fear motivation. It has inconsistent results. And so every time you fail, that database gets filled up with more and more negativity. So every time you try and push out, do something different, try and excel, try to break away from your limiting beliefs, try and get out of your comfort zone, that database of all of the negativity that you stored actually stops you. So your habits are controlled now or modulated by that database. So how can you move forward in life? Well, what you do is you start to cultivate good habits. Yes, it takes time, it takes effort, but you become consistent. You try really hard to cultivate good habits, and it all starts with having a good sleep hygiene system. You try and sleep at 10 o'clock, the latest should be 11 o'clock. So you try and go to sleep at a certain time, and then you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, we have to do a prayer at 5:30. So we're going to set the alarm at 5:30 and get up at 5:30. Now, if we do not have the discipline to go to bed at the right time, we still have to get up at 5:30. That will teach us a lesson. And eventually we will start to go to sleep at the right time. So rule number one, try and become consistent with the time you go to sleep and the time you wake up. Now you had your 8 hours. When you get up, so for me, I have learned that when I do the prayer, and then instead of going to sleep for another hour or so, if I stay on the prayer mat, I can actually go into a meditative trance, really deep meditative trance. So my job from now on is to sort out my sleep and then do the prayer and then sit for an hour, go into a deep, deep trance. In that deep trance, there's no anxiety and you design a compelling future. You don't think about how you're going to get there. That's called a procedure. You think about what you want. So you think about the outcome, So if I want to thrive, what do I want out of it? Do I want a swimming pool? Do I want a big house? Okay, do you want a barbecue outside? How do you want to travel? Do you want to travel on a private jet, or do you want to go second class, or do you want to go first class? Think about what you want. What do you want? What's the outcome? The moment it becomes procedural, it means that you're broken trance, because now you're thinking about how to get there. That should be the last thing in your mind. You should just think about what you want. Now, when you think about what you want, what will happen is that things will change. Your mindset will change. You will consistently start to do the things that you need to do to get there. And eventually you will actually obtain it. So that's rule number one, to be consistent with sleeping, getting up, and I think just meditating. 1 hour is not a huge amount. It slows your brain down. Just think about what you want. Your anxiety will start to go down. You'll have a purpose in life, and you will actually start to move forward in your life. Okay? So this is something that not just me, but everybody needs. Everybody in the world is fear motivated, and have inconsistent results and have bad habits. Those bad habits need to be changed. I personally feel that I've come to a point in my life where I've realized this, and my job for the last 18 years has been to get people to change their behaviors. I get rid of addictions. And how do I get rid of addictions? Well, I use hypnotherapy and other stuff to get rid of addictions. But getting rid of addictions are just habits. If you think about it, they're just really bad, unresourceful habits. So why not teach them how to cultivate good habits as well? So I feel really quite pleased that I've come to this conclusion, although rather late in the day, because this is something that everybody in the world needs, and I'm in a position where I can teach them. So there you go. That's my purpose in life, is to teach people how to cultivate good habits, get rid of bad habits, and how to change your mindset so that instead of fear motivation driving you, it's actually goal-oriented motivation that drives you. And that can come through meditation. So having fantastic goals, having something to do will actually keep you alive. It will keep you live longer. It'll give you something to dream about when you go to sleep, and it will get you to jump out of bed in the morning because you've got some purpose. You want to do something in life, and that will really motivate you to spend your time wisely and to be consistent, and you will achieve consistent results and you will achieve greatness. That's all for today. Bye.